You've got questions. Your parents have questions. Everyone, at some point, will have questions about downsizing. Well, we have answers. This is the Helping My Parents Move podcast, covering everything you need to know to help your parents downsize. Now, here's your host, Carly Gibson with RE/MAX of Nanaimo.
Good morning. Thanks for joining me on the very first episode of Helping My Parents Move. So, what's this podcast all about? My name is Carly Gibson. I work with RE/MAX of Nanaimo and Ian Thompson and Associates. And every day we work with people who are moving and they're facing unique challenges. So, my business partner, Ian Thompson, he specializes in downsizing. And the group that I see that there can really be more resources for are people that are between 40 and 60, and they're helping navigate a move with their parents. And so today, I want to really give you some tools and resources and talk a little bit about what other resources that I'm going to have for you on upcoming episodes. But today, what my focus will be on is seeing if this can be something that can help you as you are thinking about your parents aging. And there's 3 significant things that we can help you when you're making considerations and helping your parents move. So the 3 different items are health and mobility. So that's number 1. Our health is so important. And we take it for granted until that moment that it's not as good as it should be, right? So everybody waits too long until they get the help that they really need. The number 2 is downsizing and decluttering. And so that takes a bit of time and effort and energy. And if you're dealing with a health issue, it feels like a bigger task. And the third one is financial and legal considerations. I want to work through those 3 pieces with you today and highlight the different ways that we can support and help your downsizing journey with your parents and guide them through it in a way that is not overwhelming, piece by piece, and walk through it with you. So, one of the things that we see, I want to dive more into the story about what that looks like. And unfortunately, we do see it frequently where Maria calls me and she says, my mom's got arthritis and she lives in a 5-bedroom house with 2 bathrooms. They basically live upstairs and the basement is full of Nancy Drew books. And there's little projects that are undone that just they don't have the energy to keep up with anymore as when they had a young family. It's the health issues that kind of spur on the need to maybe look at a smaller space, and then they don't want to think about what's looming, right? So Maria's mom's got arthritis. She doesn't have the energy or the capacity to declutter the basement. And what does it look like? She hasn't even thought about, do I have enough money to buy a condo or participate in strata living? What does that look like? There's bylaws. I have a 100-pound dog that's my companion. So we're there to be able to help walk through that. So the first one that I mentioned at the beginning is the health and mobility. So there's future considerations, right? When we think about, is this a home that I can age in place in? And so we see a lot of people buying, it's essentially a rancher with a basement. They like to be able to have their friends and family come. Maybe their basement is a rental suite, and then they can do all of their living on one floor. So that's one option that people use so that they can live in age in place, as we like to call it. And the yard work becomes more and more, who can I trust to come and do the yard work? Maybe I am able to live in my house for another 10 years, but I need nurse next door and I need meals delivered and I need somebody to come and do the landscaping so that it's a good living situation for me. If I do decide to downsize, What is important to me? Does this property have a good walk score so that I can be part of a community? I don't want to be isolated. And I do want to be able to walk to get my groceries. That's part of my wellness routine. Or do I need to be part of an assisted living community? I'm not able to keep up with making meals and that kind of thing. And so we do have different resources available in the health and mobility needs area to be able to assist you in being able to find something suitable to either assist where you are or think about what that looks like in the next home for your parents. So, the next area that we focus on is downsizing and decluttering. And I think that this one deserves time and effort. And sometimes we breeze by it, but there is a lifetime of memories in these people's houses, right? These are your parents. These are your memories too. Maybe one of those bedrooms is full of your softball trophies or, the debate club or your Nancy Drew books, like I mentioned earlier. And it takes time to be able to detach from these items, right? Maybe remember those Reader's Digest plates? And they're so beautiful. Maybe there's a huge collection of those, or maybe there's a train set, or there's all sorts of different things that need to be handled with care. And so we recommend that you start early. We do have professional organizers that are lovely and can take the time with you to help you sell, donate, recycle, rehome, and get professional help. But sometimes it's a nice way to go through those memories with your family, right? Maybe you and your mom or you and your dad can have a fun walk down memory lane. You can also take photographs of items that maybe you don't have a use for them anymore, but they hold a special sentimental value. You can make a memory chest and find ways to keep things close to you that are meaningful or that trigger good memories for you. But generally, we say you should start a year to 6 months before you're ready to move. And unfortunately, that happens really quickly sometimes, right? So your health and mobility needs, if they're good, start decluttering now, right? Before you don't have the energy to be able to do it in a meaningful way, because it can be really overwhelming if it's a rushed process. So we do work with Refine Home frequently. Raylyn Varga, she's really wonderful. And she has a really amazing team of professionals that can walk you through the process if you do have to do it in a hurry and you have the financial means to be able to get some help. Yeah, it's a good option to have, right? And then number 3, financial and legal considerations. So this area is actually something that I'm really passionate about. I worked in banking for 18 years before I became a real estate agent. And I think that's part of why I've started this podcast. There's so many pieces involved in helping people move and so many questions in the financial and legal area that need to be answered so that people can move forward confidently, right? So what is the value of your home? Is there a mortgage? Do you have enough savings to last for the rest of your lifetime? What are the tax considerations? Do I have a power of attorney for my mom and dad? Do I have a representation agreement so that I can help them with health decisions if that should occur? Would I be able to hire somebody to clean their home or sell their home or help them manage their banking? So we do have trusted partners that we've worked with through other transactions and helping people move that we trust and that can explain things in a way that makes sense and plan things out in a way for your family that you can make the decisions that you need to be able to move forward. To summarize, health and mobility, downsizing and decluttering, financial and legal considerations, that is where you come to us and we can connect you. So what are the next steps? We actually have a website called www.howtogetstarted.ca. And it's dedicated to downsizing and being able to provide resources for you as you're starting to work towards possibly a move or something more practical for your parents. And it doesn't always have to be about health, right? So sometimes you just want to move because you're sick of taking care of the big house and you want to travel more. And that is great. That's the ideal situation, is when we can help before there's health and mobility needs, right? Start early. Start imagining what that life could look like for your parents and get in touch with us. There's also a free ebook called Helping My Parents Move. Sometimes the biggest hurdle is starting the conversation, right? They've been so independent for so long. And if either they've lost their partner, maybe one of your parents has passed and now the home is too much work, or they don't like to admit that they're having a hard time with their mobility, there's a guide to be able to help you start that conversation in a delicate way that they can explore the website on their own and make a plan that feels right for both you and them. Yeah. So that's really the biggest piece, is that they need to start planning today. And that's a wrap for the first episode of Helping My Parents Move. So if you found today's episode helpful, please share it. And thank you for listening. I'm Carly Gibson with RE/MAX of Nanaimo. And let's help your parents move.
Got questions about downsizing? Don't miss the Helping My Parents Move podcast, hosted by Carly Gibson with RE/MAX of Nanaimo. New episodes on the last Monday of every month. For more great resources to help your parents downsize, go to howtogetstarted.ca.